Beerus swaps Vegeta for Goku as his disciple, and the reason for this is quite intriguing, that's right. Even with Vegeta managing to use the God of Destruction power and making a new transformation based on that energy, which is Ultra Ego, Beerus decided to take Goku as his disciple, and in today's video I will explain and show you why. So, without further ado, let's go. Beerus has always been a god who observed mortals with a certain disdain. For him, most warriors were nothing more than grains of sand before the ocean of divine power. However, there was something in Vegeta that, from the beginning, caught his attention. The Saiyan Prince possessed an indomitable flame, an unbreakable will to not just reach limits but to destroy them completely. This characteristic was rare even among the gods, and it was precisely this that led Beerus to see a resemblance to himself in Vegeta. While Goku constantly sought to evolve via instinct, achieving Ultra Instinct, Vegeta rejected that philosophy. For him, fighting without emotion, without pride, and without the essence of his own identity was unacceptable. Vegeta never wanted to erase his nature. On the contrary, he desired to refine it to the maximum. This difference in mentality did not go unnoticed by Beerus. The god of destruction realized that, unlike Goku, who sought harmony and flow, Vegeta sought brute, pure power charged with his own conviction. Beerus understood this better than anyone. The role of a god of destruction is not to maintain balance through calm or serenity, but rather to impose order through chaos, crushing what needs to be erased. Vegeta's pride and fury were not flaws, but perfect fuel to mold someone who could, in the future, inherit the power of destruction. It was as if Vegeta had been born with the flame that a god of destruction should carry. That is why Beerus chose Vegeta, not because he was stronger than Goku, but because his path was more aligned with destruction. Beerus knew that Ultra Instinct was a technique aimed at angel gods, a power that reflected peace and impartiality. Hakai and the path of destruction, however, did not require detachment, but rather decisiveness, imposition, and even a certain brutality. Vegeta, with his obstinacy, his refusal to accept defeats, and his warrior pride, was the ideal candidate. During training, Beerus watched Vegeta with a look he rarely demonstrated. He saw in every burst of fury, in every stubborn advance, a reflection of his own nature. Vegeta did not just learn the technique of destruction, he lived it. He did not just seek to reproduce what Beerus showed, but to absorb the essence and make it part of himself. This impressed Beerus, who had never really considered training a mortal in that way. And the curious thing is that, unlike Goku, Vegeta did not want to be a disciple. He did not ask for instructions, he did not seek to be blindly guided by Beerus. Vegeta only desired to surpass the limits imposed on him. This rebellious spirit, which did not easily accept orders, was precisely what made the prince so compatible with the title of Destroyer. Beerus saw that Vegeta would not be a simple follower, he would be someone capable of bearing the burden of deciding who deserves to exist or not, without hesitation. In several moments, Beerus tested Vegeta in cruel ways, putting him before difficult choices. It wasn't just about strength, but about conviction. Vegeta had to learn to accept his own internal destruction, abandon his dependence on following Goku's steps, and create his own path. Beerus knew that a god of destruction does not copy, he imposes, and the power of destruction began to react to this. Vegeta unlocked the so-called Ultra Ego, a state that was the perfect manifestation of Beerus's philosophy. Unlike Ultra Instinct, which avoids blows and seeks balance, Ultra Ego embraces wounds, absorbs pain, and transforms it into strength. It was a reflection of who Vegeta truly was, a warrior who got stronger the more he was hit. Beerus smiled upon seeing this for the first time. It wasn't just technique, it was identity. Beerus understood that Vegeta did not need to be an angel, he did not need to seek serenity. He had to be exactly who he was, with all his flaws and virtues. This authenticity was the reason for his choice. Vegeta did not want to follow Goku's footsteps, and Beerus saw in this not a weakness, but a unique opportunity to mold a different successor. With each training session, Beerus recalled his own trajectory as a god of destruction. He saw in the Saiyan Prince a mirror of his own youth as a divinity. Duality, an arrogant, proud being full of hatred but at the same time implacable in his determination. Beerus did not need Vegeta to be perfect, he needed Vegeta to be real, faithful to his essence. When Vegeta stated loud and clear that his path was not the same as Kakarot's, Beerus saw the confirmation of his decision. The God of Destruction did not want a warrior who sought to be someone else's shadow, but someone who trod his own destiny, even if it was brutal and bloody. And so, Beerus began to see Vegeta not just as a powerful mortal, but as his possible successor, someone who, one day, could carry the title of God of Destruction of Universe 7. Not because he followed Beerus's orders, but because he absorbed his philosophy and transformed it into something even greater. Deep down, Beerus knew that perhaps this was the true balance of the universe, Goku representing the calm of perfect instinct, and Vegeta carrying the chaos of absolute destruction. Two different paths, but equally necessary. Two sides of the same coin, which would ensure that Universe 7 always had warriors who transcended mortal limits. That's when things truly changed. For a long time, Beerus made clear his predilection for Vegeta as a future candidate for the God of Destruction mantle. The prince had shown he had the necessary mentality, the brutality, the conviction, and the refusal to accept limits, exactly what the path of destruction demanded. However, something began to bother Beerus himself, Goku's presence and his absurd evolution. At one point, Beerus even told Goku directly that if he ever surpassed him, he would be qualified to become the next God of Destruction. This statement was surprising not only to Goku but also to Whis and Vegeta, who heard the God of Destruction utter something he rarely admitted, the possibility of being surpassed by a mortal. It was as if Beerus had recognized that however much Vegeta had the essence, Goku had the brute potential and the divine technique to go even beyond destruction itself. Goku, however, refused this proposal. For him, the role of God of Destruction made no sense. He never sought titles or responsibilities over the universe. What Goku desires is simply to fight, evolve, and face increasingly stronger warriors. Accepting the God of Destruction position would mean confining himself to a cosmic function that would limit his freedom as a warrior. Goku is not the type of person who would sit on a throne to judge who should live or die. But the question that arose afterward was, why did Beerus swap Vegeta for Goku, even though the latter refused the offer? The answer is clear. Goku achieved complete Ultra Instinct, an angelic technique that places him at a level different from any other mortal. This achievement elevated him to a level so close to the angels themselves that even Beerus could not ignore it. If Vegeta was a reflection of the path of destruction, Goku was the personification of angelic balance, something that went beyond any expectation Beerus might have had for mortals. Beerus is proud, but he is not blind. He knows that power is what dictates destiny. And the moment Goku complete Ultra Instinct in its most complete form, the destiny of Universe 7 changed. The God of Destruction understood that, however aligned Vegeta was with the Hakai philosophy, Goku was in fact the most powerful. And the role of a God of Destruction also demands supremacy of strength. This did not mean that Beerus had given up on Vegeta. On the contrary, he continued to be his disciple on the path of destruction. However, Beerus knew that in case of an extreme necessity, where Universe 7 needed someone above everyone, Goku was the answer. He possessed not only strength, but also the angelic mark in his ki, something Vegeta could never replicate. Complete Ultra Instinct is a state that surpasses any mortal barrier. It connects the warrior to the pure instinct of the universe, allowing him to react and fight in harmony with cosmic laws. For Beerus, this represented not only power, but the proximity to something that even he did not master. The irony is that Goku achieved a technique that Beerus, as a god of destruction, could not master. This difference began to weigh on Beerus's mind. He wondered if the succession of the position should really follow the path of destruction, or if it should be adapted to a new era where mortals transcend divine limits. At this point, Goku was not only surpassing Vegeta, but also beginning to put Beerus's own authority into perspective. Even so, Goku did not want to take on this role. His refusal left Beerus divided. On one side, Vegeta had the Hakai spirit, but not the angelic power. On the other, Goku had the angelic power, but not the desire to rule or destroy. This duality showed that perhaps neither of them was the perfect successor. However, Beerus could not deny it. In absolute terms of power, Goku was above. For Vegeta, this was a shock. He had dedicated his life to treading a unique path, even accepting to abandon Goku's steps so as not to live as a shadow. But now he realized that, even so, Goku would always be seen as the strongest. This difference did not make him give up. On the contrary, it further reinforced his conviction that he needed to continue growing on his own route. Beerus, deep down, respected this difference. He knew that Goku would never accept being a god of destruction, and that Vegeta, in his essence, was increasingly closer to that title. But the affirmation that if Goku surpassed him, he could assume the position was in reality a provocation. Beerus wanted to see how far Goku would go, but he also wanted to test Vegeta, to see if the prince's pride would be capable of burning even brighter in the face of this reality. In the end, the swap was not exactly a substitution. Beerus did not abandon Vegeta to hand the title over to Goku. What he did was recognize that, in terms of pure power, Goku had surpassed all expectations and had become the greatest warrior in Universe 7. However, in practice, if there were a real succession, Vegeta was still the most plausible candidate to carry the burden of destruction. This complexity shows that Beerus was not just choosing a successor, he was preparing two different paths: a mortal who could inherit destruction, Vegeta, and another who could rival even the angels, Goku. And perhaps in the future, the balance of the universe depends precisely on this coexistence, not on a single successor, but on the union between angelic power and the power of destruction. It is exactly this tension that makes it clear. Goku is the most powerful, the owner of complete Ultra Instinct, but Vegeta is the one who carries the spirit closest to Beerus. Two destinies that, although divergent, intertwine in the future of Universe 7, and it is at this point that everything converges towards the future. Goku, with his complete Ultra Instinct, carries within himself an angelic power that not even Beerus is capable of denying. Vegeta, on the other hand, increasingly molds his identity as a warrior of destruction, treading the path that reflects Beerus's essence. Two distinct destinies, but which complement each other. The true impact of this duality will only be revealed when an enemy like Black Frieza rises before them. Black Frieza is not just another threat. He represents the sum of all the hatred, strategy, and evolution of a being who has challenged the Saiyans countless times. He knows that now he does not just face Goku and Vegeta as simple mortals, he faces two warriors who walk in divine directions. And it will be in this clash that Goku will show the fullness of his complete Ultra Instinct, something that even the gods could not achieve. It is precisely in the battle against Black Frieza that we will see Goku shine like never before. All the glory of his evolution, all the mastery of fighting with body and spirit in perfect synchrony will be put to the test against the greatest enemy of his era. It is not just about defending the universe, but about demonstrating that a mortal can, indeed, surpass divine limits and fight on equal terms with a being that even Beerus considers dangerous. And while Vegeta fights for pride and the power of destruction, Goku will be the incarnation of angelic power. The battle against Black Frieza will be the definitive stage where we will see the true glory of complete Ultra Instinct, a power that will mark not only the history of the Saiyans, but of all Universe 7. It will be the moment when Goku proves, before everyone, that his strength is not just that of a warrior, but that of someone capable of rivaling the divine essence itself. But comment on what you thought of all this, and don't forget to like. Thank you very much for everyone's support, and until next time.